Hi, it's Brian Brawdy with a special invitation for you. If your regular weekly gathering is on lockdown, your weekend ritual is on the ropes, all this social distancing got you down, well, we're here to hang with you and pick up some of your Sunday morning slack. With all the stress, anxiety, and downright worry swirling around us today, we'll be here to ride it out with you. Because long before there were Dems and Repubs and Libs and Indies and Socialists and Progressives, you were one of us. We were on the same team. So no memberships, no collection plates, no hymns. You don't want to hear me sing. No bowing, no kidding. We're just gathering online to remind each other of who we genuinely are. So please join us live for a very special all-natural being, Sundays, 11 a.m. Eastern, for as long as the current craziness lasts. Hello, all. Nice to have you with us. It's time to stand up to the outrage junkies. Time to battle brittle brains atop balsa wood spines while fighting the thin-skinned nanny staters at every turn. It's Brian, I'm in, and very glad you joined us for today's ride. So what do you say? Let's get ready to mortal up. Welcome, as I just said, to the Brian Brawdy Show, a.k.a. MortalUp.com, all-natural being. If you're looking at all Sun ones, we're going to stick with this for a little while, milk it for all it's worth, apparently. But the Mandalorian was given a comment the other day, the Mandalorian of the human mind, and I'm certainly glad to be back with you. So this evening, there's a bunch of different things that I wanted. Oh, did I remember? Yes. Oh, I have so much to share with you. The first off, but let's do this. We are going to once again go into something because a lot of people have been saying, even I got a phone call today going, can you just go over that breathing thing one more time? Because it is that important, right? It's our counterpunch to the coronavirus, to making sure that your body is prepared, right? That your body is ready to go when it comes to facing COVID-19. So we're going to focus a little bit on that this evening. A quick shout out to all the people on the front line. You know, it's not just people in law enforcement, but the medical workers as well. Doctors, nurses, all kinds of hospital staff that are running, you know, as we used to say in law enforcement, running to the sound of gunshots. And they're doing absolutely that. So a shout out to them, a very special mortal up to them. For all the great work that they're doing. I trust that everyone is keeping safe. And, you know, we said a little bit earlier, and I forgot to put it up, I should have, but that we're going to talk a little bit about long before its popular meaning, PR meant personal responsibility. And a lot of what we're starting to see now is that maybe what all of this is going to do, maybe the silver lining, if you will, if you believe there is one, but the silver lining is going to be, we're going to have to fall back on being personally responsible. You know, before we get into, and I'll show you the gift that I got today, but before we get into that, everyone's busy pointing at, all the governors are blaming the president. The governors in Congress are blaming the president. All the mayors and the sheriffs are blaming the governors. All the homeowners associations and other groups of constituents and even individuals are blaming all the mayors and the sheriffs. So it goes from us up to the mayors and sheriffs, up to the governors, up to Congress, up to the president. Everyone's busy pointing the finger at everybody else. And I'm thinking maybe one of the things that we can take away from this, especially when it comes to this concept of using your breath, right? Putting your lungs through the paces, the way nature intended it, breathe like you mean it, is this sense of personal responsibility. Yeah, you know, I heard someone say today, wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. If you wash your hands 50 times a day. Well, true. However, you don't bite your nails. You don't pick your nose. If you're not busy high-fiving complete strangers on the street corner, you're probably good with 1 or 2 washes a day. And for the people, I know this is hard to believe, but if you don't go anywhere, chances are pretty good, at least what we know now, that coronavirus isn't like a predator waiting to jump out from your cabinet, right? It's not like like an antigen with Tourette's syndrome, right, jumps out and grabs you. So you could probably save some of the skin on your hands, get a good moisturizer, but save some of the skins, wash your hands when you need to, right? But we don't have to go, I don't think we need to go crazy about it. But one of the things that I'm here to say that we absolutely should be going crazy about, and that's going to be the focus tonight, because tomorrow night, just a little bit of a program note, I believe today is Wednesday. Tomorrow night, we're going to be focusing on some of the things that I've done specifically. Now, my good friends from Fan Buddy are going to be, I'm going to be highlighting tomorrow because, face it, I couldn't afford a HEPA filter in every room, right? But I knew when I came back from the hospital that I was going to have to do everything I could to keep the pathogens, keep the antigens, keep the bad guys and the bad girls away, right? So I was going to have to do what I could to increase indoor air quality as I was lying around and recovering. So we're going to get into that tomorrow night, a little bit about how I was able to do damn near the same thing, but without the cost of, these $1,000 HEPA filters to put in all over the house. So we're going to get to that. But that's a little bit of the personal responsibility that I'm talking about. Yeah, we all point the fingers at others. We're all busy yelling and screaming and hollering. I got in a fight here. Here, if you're watching on Facebook. Oh, and welcome to the very special 8 o'clock hour this evening as opposed to 9 o'clock. I'm a morning person. I've said that before, but we're testing out because we've gotten some suggestions that 8 o'clock would be better. So we'll be doing this at 8 o'clock in the evenings and really just kind of sensing what works best for all the people that are watching, right? What's the time frame that you want? What fits best into your schedule? And of course, Wayne works really hard. There'll be a rebroadcast of it and everything else, but what works best for you? So welcome to the 8 o'clock hour. We're going to be doing the 20-minute victories. As I said, I don't want to be wrapped with breaking the internet, so we're not going to be tying it up any more than the 20 minutes to get our show out. As I started to say, all the anxiety, all the angst, if you were, over on Twitter, that's where you happen to be watching the show. You see my brother Michael was busy ranting and raving and spitting into the camera and upset, and all the different people that jumped on the bandwagon to say, well, he's right. He's busy pointing the finger and screaming and carrying on. And all I'm suggesting is, I don't know about you, right? You might be different than I am, but I've never really met a person, heaven forbid a person I don't even know, but I've never met a person before that I've given the remote control and allowed me, right? Like road rage. And then you go, wait a minute, what am I doing? The guy, he's just trying to get somewhere too. But I've never given anyone the remote control so that without any of my say-so, they can reach in and just bring my nerves to a boiling point. So what I was trying to suggest is when we're busy screaming, hollering, and F this and F that, and everybody's dropping the A word, the B word, the C word, the D word, the F. There's like a different word for every letter of the alphabet almost now. I don't think they have one for Z. I don't believe there's one for Z. But in any event, everyone's busy screaming and hollering and carrying on. And I go, well, when you look at personal responsibility, I'm not surrendering my responsibility to control my temper to someone else. I'm not giving someone else like one of those Craftmatic adjustable beds. I give somebody else the remote control and allow them to control what goes on inside my own mind. I'm not going to let someone hijack my head. I'm not going to, heaven forbid now, maybe Michael knows the president. I don't know. Maybe any one of these other people lining up and screaming and hollering and, right? Maybe they know the president. Maybe they know him personally. Groovy. I would still step back and go, why would you let someone, whether you know them personally or not, why would you let someone turn up your inner thermostat? Why would you let someone control? Why would you let them hijack your cockpit, your cranial cockpit? Why would you let them hijack your consciousness and ruin your day? So for me, for all the, right, I've extended a couple different invitations to the people picking fights today on Twitter and going, hey, next time you're in Ohio, stop by. I'd love to have you. In any event, right? So why would you let someone else work your blood up to such a boil? That's okay. I think that's good enough. Now, for the questions that we've gotten and the emails and the calls and the texts we've gotten about breathing, thank you so very much because I really believe it's that important. All right, so let's look at this little thing that I happen to pick up today. So this is the thing I was trying to think of last night. Remember, this is the Bellows. So when you squeeze, there you go. Right? When you squeeze these handles together, it draws air in. When you pull them apart, you squeeze, air rushes out to the top. So normally you put it in the fireplace, and that's how you stoke the fire. So what I'm here to say is imagine that this back one, if you will, is the small of your back. This is actually your sacrum. right? This is your hip girdle, if you will, the back, your tailbone. Let's call it a tailbone. And when you inhale, your tailbone goes out. All right? And then what you do is that when you exhale, that tailbone cups back in underneath your glutes. In that space, you know the space that I'm talking about, right? It cups back in under your glutes so that it can kind of force. So when we talked about last evening about doing your breathing exercises, and it's important because your immune system would like to be your new best friend, right? Or BFF, best friend forever, I guess it is, right? It would love to have all hands on deck to be able, why would you surrender your own ability to smack COVID-19 around? Why would you waive your own personal ability, your own personal responsibility to smack Wuhan virus right back in the face? So what I'm suggesting is that when you look at this bellows and you think, okay, here's my tailbone, it extends when I inhale, and you take your stomach and you're going like this. So your tailbone is extending out the back, your navel is extending towards the floor, you're drawing in a deep breath, right? Okay, so now as you begin to exhale and you contract both the sacrum, the tailbone, all that nomenclature, and the navel of your stomach, you begin to collapse that in. What does it do? It forces, right? It forces the air up. So what happens is when you do that and then you squeeze the muscles of your abdominal wall, right? You squeeze all the nomenclature you have on the inside. So as you inhale, you're drawing in as big a reservoir. You're breathing like you mean it, breathing the way your lungs intended it. Not with a mask on, you're getting these shallow breaths, right? Like you're breathing from your sternum. What does that tell the body? There's a reason to be panicked. Well, then it becomes, what's the chicken or the egg, right? So we are either panicked and our body goes, oh, he's breathing real shallow. She's got tunnel vision. She must be panicked. But when we do the inverse, our body goes, wait a minute, maybe we should hold those chemicals for a time. He's really panicked. Maybe we should hold off with the fight, flight, or freeze chemicals until she really needs a rush of that energy. So all I'm suggesting is that when you slow your breath down, you don't breathe in through your sternum, you allow your tailbone and your navel to open all the way up. And then when you contract it and you start blowing out that inhale that you just got, you start to exhale and you squeeze together. You pull your navel back in towards your spine. You pull it back in. You force that air out, like I said last evening, like a tube of toothpaste. And you're squeezing, you're rolling up the bottom of the toothpaste to get that last little bit of toothpaste out there. Well, the same thing with your breath. Now, you're sending that breath up by contracting your spine, right? So we said you're contracting your spine and the small, your navel. You're pushing it in, and it forces the air up. Now, as you contract your abdominal wall even further, not only does it force the air up, it forces cerebral spinal fluid up from the girdle of your body up through your spine so that it reaches your head. So it's really like giving yourself a mental massage, if you will. So as you exhale and you contract those muscles, you roll up that toothpaste, right? You get it so that where you've got your stomach already pulled in, you're holding that stomach muscle as tight as you can, forcing the air out, forcing the spinal fluid up into your brain. You hold your breath for a couple seconds, and then when you decide to go ahead and let that breath go, you breathe in through your nose and you repeat again. You open up the bottom, let all the air come rushing in, because again, it communicates to the body, well, she's taking a deep breath. Well, he's certainly taking his sweet time with that inhale. There can't be anything to be scared about. And then your body, instead of taking all that energy and wasting it by screaming and hollering and spitting and running around and worried and full of anxiety and just full of angst, you're using that energy, because it's all energy, right? It takes energy to digest your food. You're using all that energy to bolster, or at least, if not bolster, then at least back your immune system up so that it has the ability to attack any of the pathogens that might be trying to ruin your day. So when I said earlier that breathe, so that you could save your day, I meant just that. By breathing in, getting all of that oxygen, taking your lungs for a lap, right? Making them breathe like nature intended. Get that air all the way down inside. Then when you exhale, you're going to contract everything around your spine. You're pushing both the air up and, more important, equally important, I guess, is that you're sending the cerebral spinal fluid back up to your brain, and that's what bathes your brain. That's the way it's intended to be, and most certainly we do that when we're not panicked, when we're not stressed. Because I'll tell you, just like we've said before, if you're anxious, if you're full of anxiety, if you're full of anger, you're a great target, right? That whole sense of being ticked off makes you great prey. So if for no other reason you don't like the person, groovy, there'll be plenty of time to exact your revenge. But you exact your revenge when you scream into a camera. You're exacting that revenge on yourself. It's self-mutilation in a way, because you're not giving your own mind. You don't like the guy, groovy. You don't like the girl, groovy. You do like the guy, groovy. You do like the girl, groovy. Don't care. You might, I don't. I'm simply saying that you should save that energy and put it to use for something that's good for you in your own heart and your own head. Don't let yourself be hijacked. Don't let your cognitive cockpit be rushed by a bunch of hijackers and try to take over your day. Would you really, just hear me out on this. Would you open up your front, if I knocked on your door, would you open up your front door and I go, hey, I'm here, and you say, ooh, what can I do for you? Well, I have 2 cans of red spray paint. If it's cool with you, I thought I'd work my way around your house and just graffiti. I'm a graffiti artist, right? I've felt it since I was little. But 2 cans of spray paint, do you mind if I just run around your house and spray paint graffiti? Maybe on some couch cushions. Oh, those cabinets, those look nice. Are those new, right? Just spread my graffiti whenever I want to, wherever I want to. Designs. Hey, right, you don't need to vote. I'll take it from here, right? Go Greyhound, leave the driving to me. I'll take it from here. You'd go, are you insane? Could be something to that. But another event, you'd go, are you nuts? I'm not letting you in my house to spray paint all over my good stuff with your cans. I don't need your graffiti. Oh, but you'll let someone else get in and ruin your mood, spray paint their opinions all over on the inside of you. So when we talk about it, and I mentioned this earlier, when we get a chance and you're using your spine, you're using your lungs the way nature intended, and you use, just like the Bellows, you pump up that spinal fluid up to your skull. You don't have room to be offended. You don't have room to be ticked off. And when you do it and you feel that rush into your brain, I have a 2-word mantra. I just say thank you, right? Or fill yourself with a sense of gratitude. Watch how very quickly a smile comes in the face. And that's why I said earlier, just breathe smarter. Breathe smarter. Breathe rhythmically. Because we know now that disjointed breath is a killer. We know now that if you don't breathe the way nature intended, you're doing yourself harm. You're doing yourself a disservice. And when I feel for people that are busy screaming and hollering and cussing at people, and they're all saying, well, my word's going to make a difference. Nobody gives a flying rat's tuchus about what you and I think. Nobody. So what I'm simply suggesting is that why don't we care about what goes on the inside, so that your head, your heart are congruent, your breath's all dialed in, and your immune system has the ability to do what it needs to defend you. There'll be plenty of time for picking a fight. Like I said, find yourself in Ohio, stop by. Right? There'll be plenty of time for that. But in the interim, let's not give our energy away. What's it worth? Couple of up tweets, you may go viral. Well, geez, we got another virus competing right now, so good with you for wanting to go viral. I could get a lot of likes. People think I'm really special if I have a lot of people following me. No, they don't. Nobody really cares. Nobody worth merit. So save that energy for yourself. Here's the perfect time to be a narcissist. Here's the perfect time to be selfish. Here's the perfect time to go, well, I don't care what's going on around me. I'm going to focus on my breath. And just like the length of the show, we're coming up towards the end, 20-minute victory. Do this for 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the afternoon, and 20 minutes in the evening, right? If you cut a pie, as I was saying to my friend David Ray Bowman, you cut a pie and you cut it into 20-minute chunks. You get 72 20-minute chunks in a 24-hour day. So I'm asking for 1/72nd of your day to be a narcissist. I'm asking for 1/72nd of your day to be selfish with your breath. Make your breath work for you. Let your chemical know that you're in charge, not them, that you're in charge of the chemicals. If anyone does any hijacking around here, it's going to be you. You're going to decide how this goes. And stop giving your energy away. With all due respect, it would be my suggestion that we stop giving our energy away because it's only hurting us in the end. So be selfish. I'm thrilled with you being a narcissist, most certainly in this regard. All right, before we go ahead and get out of here, again, thank you so very much for everything. Remember, please, 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 please. Oh, there you go. See, and you're like, oh, how do you know? State of the art. A little bit better than last night. Huh? Let's see if that done works. No, maybe that works. All right, so remember, breathe smarter. Put your lungs through a real workout the way nature intended it. And I promise you'll be in a lot better position. Not me. These are the brainiacs from the Poison Ivy League at Harvard and Dartmouth and Yale, all the medical professionals, right, that are saying, if you're anxious, if you're screaming and hollering, if you're worried, if you're stressed out, your immune system is busy fighting your emotions before it ever gets a chance to fight whatever pathogen may be attacking you. So even to the people over on Twitter, I wish you nothing but the absolute best. And like I said, I'll look forward to seeing you here. We'll split a Buckeye. All right. Have an absolutely fantastic evening. Don't forget, you can head on over to mortalup.com. Give us the nominations for Low Life's Making Headlines. You can also give us the nominations for the Mortal Up candidate. We've got a bunch of good news coming in the days ahead for that. And don't forget, tomorrow night we'll be talking about how I filter the air. And then I think on Friday we'll probably do one or two of the supplements that I use religiously, what I do to filter my water, that kind of thing, just in case it's a benefit for you, because all the reports out now saying pollution of any kind in our water, in our air, in our food, and the things that we ingest, that pollution is all making it damn near impossible for our immune system to rise to the challenge. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you all so very much. Don't forget, join me over at mortalup.com. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you like. More importantly, let me know what you dislike, right? I can take it. I'm just busy doing my breathing. All right, we'll see you all. Be safe. Remember, look up, stand up, bring your own bold. For heaven's sakes, it's time to mortal up.